I moved here in 2017.
Yeah.
And my goal was to get to Treasure Island. My mother had been here for 30 years, retired school teacher, and I knew I wanted to live in Treasure Island. So for various reasons, I ended up down here and didn't do any radio. Got involved with the sports bar, Ferg's, with my friend Mark Ferguson, and you know him well. He kept telling me, you need to get back into radio. That's when podcasts just started getting popular.
Right.
And I said, well, I can't afford it. He goes, it's a podcast. There's this radiostpete.com. I want you to meet the guy, Joe Bordeaux, does a superb job. And the next thing you know, I rustled up a little bit of money and got a 4-microphone mixer.
Yeah.
Plugged it in. Terrible. We had just horrible Wi-Fi.
Right.
And me and myself and I on the air.
Having a beer with Fred is really about getting to people's passion and what makes them tick. Why are they amazing entrepreneurs? Why are they trying to accomplish something? That is what I'm hoping to do through these podcasts and through these discussions and through having a beer with a friend or a new friend or somebody that I find interesting. At the end of the day, having a beer and having honest, frank, clear conversation that inspires our audience is what it's about. All right, so I'm here with Mike Rickford.
Rickard.
Come on, don't butcher it. I've known you for how long?
4 years. 5 years.
Was it before COVID or?
It was right before COVID. It was Super Bowl.
Super Bowl in Tampa Bay.
Exact. Tampa Bay. Yep.
And they were playing.
And the Chiefs.
And they were playing in Tampa Bay.
Yep.
And I was with
Billy
Fairweather.
Yeah.
And you were doing a pod. He drags me over, and he had just met you, right?
I had a podcast. I had just launched a month earlier down at Ferg's, the biggest sports bar in the area, and all I had was the 2 microphones.
Yeah.
And I remember these people walking around with cameras and hot women, and everybody's having a great time.
It's Dirty Water TV. Love to see.
And this cat is motioning at me like, you need me. I'm in the middle of an interview.
Billy Fairweather. I just did Having a Beer with Fred with Billy Fairweather. That was quite a show just a few days ago. I'm sure a week or two ago.
Any show with Billy would be quite a show.
Right.
And he kept pointing and bugging me.
So I've been paying to be on the tee in Florida. Now you're on my podcast. I'm going to charge you.
Well, we'll negotiate.
Anyway, so give me a little bit of your history, or give the audience a little bit of your history. And I truly enjoyed our friendship. We've become friends, and I love your passion. I love your entrepreneurship, because Having a Beer with Fred is about, it's about entrepreneurship. It's about people that enjoy what they do and have a passion, and they build businesses. And you're building this on the tee, and we've been a sponsor with Ice Pick Vodka for quite a while now.
3 years now.
3 years.
Yeah.
Jesus. And through
time flies, man.
Some crazy times. You were brought up in Ohio, right?
Come on. The great state of Iowa.
Oh, I keep confusing the two. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, don't do that.
Okay.
Because Charlie Breakiron, and your fine general manager partner here, is from Ohio.
I know that.
Now, you know what Iowa as an acronym stands for?
2 things from Ohio, right? No.
Well, Iowa, IOWA, idiots out wandering around.
Yeah.
Everybody down here in Florida thought that was a great joke. I've known it for, 60 years.
People from Iowa. There's great people in Iowa.
They're kind of like people from Maine.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
They have a lot of the same work ethic.
I went to a wedding on a farm in Iowa. We dropped off a pallet of Shipyard export way back. My brother-in-law, my first brother-in-law, Guy Bolduck, and his beautiful family that he married into out there is great.
Nothing like you go from a beach wedding to a farm wedding, right?
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, I moved here in 2000. What is it? 17.
Yeah.
And my goal had always been, I was in Des Moines, Iowa, was to get to Treasure Island. My mother had been here for 30 years, retired school teacher, and I knew I wanted to live in Treasure Island.
She was down here, and you said, I got to get down.
Yeah, and I was certain I was going to move. So, for various reasons, I ended up down here and didn't do any radio. Got involved with the sports bar, Ferg's, with my friend Mark Ferguson, and you know him well.
He's a good man.
Yep. And did that for a while. And he kept telling me, you need to get back in the radio,
Right.
in some capacity. And that's when podcasts just started getting popular.
Right.
And I said, well, I can't afford it. He goes, it's a podcast. There's this radiostpete.com. I want you to meet the guy, Joe Bordeaux, does a superb job. And the next thing you know, I rustled up a little bit of money and got I think it was a 4-microphone mixer.
Yeah.
Plugged it in. Terrible. When we had just horrible Wi-Fi.
Right.
And me and myself and I on the air.
Yeah.
Then I realized that being downtown across from Tropicana Field was a gold mine. That get your head out of your butt. And you were in Iowa and you made it kick ass. Why can't you do it right down here? And that's when the Rays were, that's when Tampa Bay started.
Yep.
You had the Rays in the World Series. You had the Stanley Cup right here in Tampa with the Lightning. You had the Bucks in the Super Bowl. The Rowdies were rocking and rolling.
Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Champions like that.
If you can't build a business, out of that,
Right.
you're a fool. And
So you gave me some great wearables, the hat, the sweatshirt. I've actually got another one of you.
and you don't even golf.
Well, I golf, but poorly. My cousin Bruce is the golfer. I'm like a 5 or a 50. If any of my friends are watching, there's one good friend of I have, John Marr, that there's a few golf stories. We were at it was a tournament of member guests at the country club in
They don't let me on country clubs.
well, they
I'm such a hack.
well, the country club in outside of Boston.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So he had always wanted to play there, and I pulled in. He sees me and he goes, Forsley, what the F are you doing here?
Yeah, that's me.
And so long story short, with my handicap and the golfers are on my team, we ended up winning the whole thing.
Well, they love
So upset about that.
They love high handicappers.
Yeah.
Well, every team and I'm the guy.
My problem is people don't believe me because sometimes, like I'll birdie a hole or I'll play a really good couple holes and then the wheels will
Fade?
come off. No, not just fade. The wheels will come off, and that'll be just ugly. But you're talking about golf. You're having different people on your show. You had my buddy Bradley, who owns Spring Meadows Golf Course up in Gray, on your show, Gray, Maine. But it's fun. The idea is, do you think it sells any beer or any ice pick vodka? I mean, I know I support it because I like you. Was anybody
we talk about? All we talk about is ice pick vodka, Shipyard Brewing. But down at Ferg's, where we host now, we'll be migrating up here. You guys came up with a great concept.
back and forth? We're
Yeah.
going to be blowing me up.
But Tampa Bay's
Yeah.
and that drink,
So we'll be doing the show from here.
yes.
So that'll help bring people here. And
Well, we'll have parties.
so
That's
if you're
that's
selling me on spending money, other than the fact that I feel passionate about what you do, why would somebody spend marketing dollars to promote that product?
And on the T Florida, the reality is, on the T Florida isn't like watching the Golf Channel.
Yeah.
Portions of it are, but I'm such a horrible hack. And in about 2000, it was 2020, one or two, I can't remember. My son was an aspiring high school golfer.
Right.
I'd gone to a couple of business functions and got just absolutely embarrassed because I'd been in boxing. And I thought, my boy's going to learn how to golf.
Right.
But at the same time, I'd heard a show that was horrible. It was two pros telling you how to hold your hands, where to stand. Nobody wants to do this.
Slow.
Yeah.
Slow.
But Happy Gilmore had come out.
Right.
Patty Shack had come out.
Right.
The humor, guys like me, beer drinkers.
Having fun with it.
They love those shows.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I thought we got to mix it up with hack humor and then with some professional analysis.
Yeah.
That broadened the audience.
Was anybody listening?
Oh, yeah, our numbers in Iowa were off the charts, and here have grown exponentially.
It's growing.
Yes, we're on the biggest signal, 50,000 watts, the Big 8 AM 820.
So they listen to it in the mornings?
We're on from 6 to 8 drive time. I selected
6 a.m. to 8
No,
a.m.?
PM.
Okay.
Yeah, we're on drive time,
Okay.
and you pay a premium for that. But the studio's in downtown Tampa, and that's where, and our rejoins are humorous, and we have contests that people call in, and not necessarily a golf contest.
It's so hard as a brand to know what to spend money on and what to not spend money on. And
You got to look at the demographic.
yeah, well,
And all ages golf.
Right.
And well, your citizens.
Being honest about it, you were just such a pest, and I believed in your
Pleasantly
persistence.
pleasantly
And just kept, and being a sales guy my whole life, I respected that. You just kept,
persistent pain in the ass.
yeah. And
Right, so,
I
and
finally, I told Charlie we'll do a little bit just to shut him up and keep maybe it'll work out. But
well, all of my clients, even the ones back in Iowa, I've used for references down here. That's how I got Coca-Cola body armor. They said, you know what? You wore us out.
right, that was it.
Pleasantly persistent pain in the ass.
So when are we going to do the show here? When's that?
I would say, right, St. Patty's Day is this coming Monday.
Yep.
The 27th will be our launch.
Okay.
March 27th. March 27th.
2025.
Yep. And the reason being, the 20th is the Valspar Championship. We'll be live from the Valspar.
Right.
But the week after, we'll have some great stories to share. And then that'll give us good promotion. And then we'll do our first
I have
video streaming.
I have some friends that are golf fanatics. Like I have one friend who, I won't say his name. He's done very well in life financially, and I think he must belong.
Do you want me to bug him for a while? See if he wants to sponsor.
He knows how to spend money on golf. He's probably in 7 or 8 clubs and probably golfs 220 times.
Got to get him on the show.
Yeah. I'll talk to him.
We had Rondé Barber on last Thursday.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, Rondé Barber is the co-chair of the Valspar, and I ran into Rondé Barber last year at the Tampa, the Sports Club of Tampa event, the Hall of Fame.
Nice.
And he and I hit it off, and I never talked about football. I knew he was a passionate golfer. I knew his role at the Valspar. He says, anytime, come on. So we still didn't talk about football.
Right.
And I was talking about NIL with him.
Right.
Because his brother Tiki and he.
Yeah.
I said, you went to Virginia. I said, can you imagine good-looking, talented guys? I said, can you imagine what your guys' NIL would have been? Off the charts.
Right.
Because look at them. They're known across the country.
Yeah.
Because they're good-looking guys.
Was it a Cadillac commercials? He's on the Cadillac commercials.
They're on everything.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Good Morning America. I mean, these guys, talented guys, humble, and
yeah.
And
in my career, 33 years in the beer business, I've spent a lot of money in different things. And honestly, with Ice Pick Vodka and Shipyard and Sea Dog, spending money with you, it's one in which I know I've met some really interesting people. I'm not sure whether it's sold much product, but by you being here, you've attracted some people. And then when I've said, listen, we're going to do an event at a bar, would you bring some people? All of a sudden, you bring a clan.
Oh, of course.
And
that's the goal, is to bring a clan here every
money, right?
Every Thursday night.
Right. Yeah, which you will.
And give away swag. And people,
I like to give you a hard time because you take it well.
But I take it well, and then I think, I got to get my together.
Right.
What do we got to do now? Now, the video streaming has always been on my mind.
Well, we're investing in it.
But you
won't charge you much for it.
But you, yeah. I'm going to go on the whole with this now. What do you think? He's always going to win. He's a businessman. But it's like your focus and what you've been doing, some great things with video, inspired me. And then when you found an ace in the hole here, to assist in the process.
Adam, our partner,
I knew
dog wearing care. Also,
I knew it was it's time
video
talent, time to rock and roll.
Right.
Yeah. And that's the direction I'm going. The biggest concern I always had was still being able to give the same message for my sponsors.
Yep.
Like your ads, your radio ads run, 20, 30 times a week on the biggest blowtorch AM there is, terrestrial radio.
Well, I think you can do both, right?
I can do both.
Yeah.
And Adam was, showed me how to do that. So we'll still have the audio capability. Yeah. We'll be streaming, and we'll have YouTube, and we'll have Spotify, and we'll be in the 21st century finally.
Right.
And I do like that at the bottom of these videos, we'll be able to put Ice Pick logo, Shipyard Brewing logo, across the bottom while we're doing the reads. We won't be doing 30-second spots. They'll be airing over terrestrial. But during the conversation here, we'll talk about Ice Pick vodka.
Right.
And we have converted a lot of people. And we even brought a cocktail queen into the conversation.
Right.
Patty Suzette, who's easy on the eyes.
Right.
And I guarantee she sold some ice pick
Yes.
and can continue to.
Yeah, that's great.
What I think is cool is you guys just launched some new flavors, some new labels.
Mm-hmm.
And that demographic,
Yeah,
I know is listening.
Yep. So if you're going to advise me on how to sell beer, how to sell ice pick, how to sell Shipyard, what do you tell me I should do better? What should I be doing better?
Well,
It's a tough business, right now.
it's a very tough business.
Yeah.
And being down, at Ferg's and seeing what your competition is doing.
Yeah.
And seeing the number of new labels that have come out. It just shocked me. When
Just keep coming and
they just keep coming.
yeah, it's going to slow down.
But
The beer business is got some real challenges ahead.
well, I knew that,
Yeah.
but I didn't realize that the vodka environment was that intense,
Yeah.
and people are still launching it. But I think more, but boots on the ground, and doing the sampling.
Yeah.
I do think that helps.
Yeah.
I don't know, you know more about it than I do, but I've observed that, and everybody seems to be doing it, and I think, utilizing whether it be some of my interns and getting them in other locations, just letting people try your new labels.
Yeah.
Zeke's a great guy, but he's not the best looking, and neither am I, but we certainly can attract better young people, like golfers, boys and girls, and men and women.
Get on the golf.
On haircuts, yeah, things like that.
Yeah. Well, listen, it's been a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot more in the future. Just keep moving, right?
That's all we can do, my friend.
We can do.
I appreciate everything you've done for me.
Definitely. Cheers.
Cheers.